Barbara, one of the other questions we had, of course, was whether earnings season would disappoint or surprise to the upside. And the banks, at least, it's been the latter, and that's obviously helped that sector this week.
Yeah, no, that is true. And I think what the banks have indicated is consumer is healthy and strong, which I think we know at this point. Demand has simply exploded, but also businesses are healthy. So the key thing, though, that I think investors, and certainly I am looking forward to, is the forward guide, because I think everybody's trying to figure out what is really the sustainable growth rate, because things have opened so quickly and we have such supply shortages. We're going to have some margin concerns depending on the company. So what really is the growth rate that we should be using, and therefore the PE? So I think that's going to be very telling during this earnings season. But I don't expect disappointment, not at this point. I think it's going to be good, not as strong as the second quarter for sure. But I think that's really the key, is what we're trying to figure out, what are the real earnings going forward.
Larry, if you look at the winners for the week in terms of sectors, materials, consumer discretionary, and technology, right up there in that top four, do you stick with, and I don't know if technology fits into this bucket, but do you stick with the cyclical plays, which really worked this week, the banks included?
Yeah, I think if you look at what's been coming out from the macro headlines, this economy is starting to re-energize itself after that September slowdown. So I think you do want to be in those cyclical sectors, because I think as we go into this holiday shopping season, I think you're going to see this economy do well. So we do like those cyclical sectors that you mentioned. We like, energy, financials, consumer discretionary, communication services, and I think they'll continue to do very well. The other thing that's really important about this earnings season that we're getting is that a lot of these companies are really taking care of this supply chain constraints that everybody's been talking about. Almost every company is trying to do something to unlock it. And I think by the time we get to the middle of next year, we won't be talking about it. And that as well will be a positive for earnings longer term.
Larry, what's your views when you hear the word stagflation thrown around? Is there a chance of that here, perhaps abroad?
No, I think it's overblown, to be honest with you. I think just look at what we've been seeing this week. You're seeing an upgrade in growth, whether that was retail sales today, whether you've seen better employment conditions, yesterday the jobless claims. So I think growth is going to be fine. And I do think that we are in the process of peaking when it comes to inflationary pressures. And again, companies aren't standing idly by doing nothing. They're doing everything in their power, because if you're a CEO, you got to maximize your sales. So they're doing everything they can to get those constraints, unbound. So I think that stagflation is overdone. I think we're getting closer to what would be more of a Goldilocks scenario for this economy.